What's up, guys? Mirrors Play Switch right here. Today we are doing the random team rebuilding challenge. Um, yeah, so let's get to it. Alright, so we got the Kings, and at this point, I knew that the Kings have a lot of young players that I can trade, so I can get a star player and make this to a championship team. So the first thing I do, I went to the proposed trade, see how much trade value they had. De'Aaron Fox had 4 stars, Buddy Hield 3.5, Morgan Bailey 4, Rashawn Holmes 3. So I was like, yeah, I can get some decent players with this trade value. So then I checked to see if anybody wants to re-sign. Obviously some was undecided. Then I looked at our roster because I really do not know the Kings like that. So I looked at the roster, and then at this moment, I looked at our schedule and our front office, our game plan, just to see what's going on with this team. Obviously, I saw the system was pace of space. Honestly, I do not like that. I like balance. That's always my number one choice. So then I set the team system on balance, and then after that, I looked at free agency, see if I can get any players, and then try this out. DeMarcus Cousins, but I already have 50 players on the roster. I could have released somebody, but I didn't want to do that because I wanted to trade most of these players that was on the team. So I fixed up the game plan or whatever. I looked at this team. It's a pretty decent team, to be honest. I'm pretty sure we had a 10-man rotation on. It looks like a 10-man right now. So then I go back to proposed trade, and then I was looking for a star player to trade, because remember in the beginning I said that we have a pretty young team, and so most of them have some good trade value. So I was looking for like small forwards, shooting guards at this point, just to upgrade our our team. So I was looking at the Timberwolves. I was like, I don't really want nobody from there. Then I was looking at the Thunder, not really. Warriors, Wizards, Suns, didn't want nobody there. So at this point, I was just looking for a star player. I was looking at Kelly Oubre. I thought he could really help us. I was gonna flip him, but then I kind of wanted to keep him too. I saw the contract. I was like, nah, it's not a pretty big contract, but to be honest, I didn't want Kelly Oubre. To be honest, I just needed somebody that fill in for a small forward. So I saw the Spurs, and I was like, oh, they have DeMar DeRozan. We could probably trade for DeMar DeRozan. He is making $27 million a year, and he has a player option. There's nothing wrong with that. So I tried to trade for him. So then I looked if they were rebuilding, and it seems that they were. So, and DeMar DeRozan wasn't untouchable, so I could trade for him. And he was only 4 stars, so I'm like, we can match this up easily. This could be a perfect trade. We could give him assets, and they give us DeMar DeRozan back. So I offered him Harrison Barnes, a small forward, in exchange. Obviously, they're not going to accept that, so I gave them a first round pick. They said no. I tried with another pick. Oh wait, actually no. Then I gave them Buddy Hield, and then I need to make up for another person. I'm sorry. So then I'm looking at their roster. I see that they have Derek White, and I said that can really help us. We could trade him too. They said no, they don't want to do this deal. So then I go back to my pick, see what I can give them. I give them a second, and they agree to the trade. Now we have DeMar DeRozan on the team. Now I'm pretty happy at this moment. We have a star player in DeMar DeRozan, and he is making $27 million a year, but he could decline that player option, so we don't have to pay for the next year. And then, so at this point, I'm looking at the roster. I'm like, what else do I need to make this team win a champion? So I go back to the gameplay, I fix it up, have Derek White run the shooting guard, DeMar DeRozan run the small forward, De'Aaron Fox point guard, etc. And then at this point, I'm like, why is Morgan Bagley running the center? So I will fix that up in a minute. So yeah, that's what I go to do. Make him a power forward. His overall jumps up. And then I keep Rashawn Holmes as a center. I was thinking about changing De'Aaron Fox, but I was like, no, actually, he's a very good point guard. And plus, just one boost and overall, so I was like, that's not necessary. And Rashawn Holmes, he goes up a lot as a power forward. And then so I was like, if I make both of them a power forward, I'm gonna need a better center. So then I just what's the name, make everybody different positions so their overall can go up, so we can trade for better players so they can have better trade value. So at this point I'm pretty satisfied with the overalls, but we still need more assets for the team. I accidentally discard the changes, so I actually make them do the changes again. And then yeah, so yeah, at this point I'm just really just looking for another player that can help this team. That's why I'm really doing this. If you don't understand, we have Harry Giles as our starting center. That is not very good. So in a minute, I believe I will be traded for another center. We have Rashawn Hills as our sixth man. That's a huge dub, especially as an 84. He's coming off the bench. Can really help us. So I'm just looking at this game plan. I'm like, who should I trade? Who do I need on the team? So I go, what's the name? Propose trade. Now I'm looking in the market again for somebody, and I'm trying to get Eric Bledsoe to upgrade our bench. Cause I don't believe we had a point guard on our bench, a very good one actually. And I did not want to give up Derek White. They're going to give us Robin Lopez. Now looking at this now, I should have took that deal because I could have got another shooting guard. That was a pretty good deal. But yeah, I did not want to get rid of Derek White at the time. And then so they just want all of these, and I was like, no way for Eric Bledsoe. So I tried to throw some picks in. I give him a first round, a late one. They kept trying to give me Brook Lopez. I did not want him. I did not want to give up Derek White either. So at this point, I'm really frustrated with this trade. So I go to Team Intel to see who's rebuilding or who's selling, who's buying, because we need some more players to help this team. So then I go to the Bulls. I see they're rebuilding. I don't really want nobody from the Bulls. Neither the Cavs. Celtics are contending, so they're not going to give me nobody. So I'm just looking around the market for some new players to help this team, because obviously this team by itself is not going to make the champions. They probably could make the playoffs, but they're definitely not winning the champion. So then I go to the Timberwolves, try to get DeAndre Russell for our bench once again, because I wanted a good point guard coming off the bench. I tried to give him Rashawn Holmes. They didn't want him, so I gave him a first round pick. They still didn't want that. And D'Angelo Russell, he's a good player, but he's 3.5 stars. I think that's a little disrespectful. He should at least be 4 stars, but I'm not going to complain. This was a pretty easy trade, but I did not get this trade off. So yeah, I'm doing everything I could. Obviously, they're not going to accept that trade, but I was just looking if they were. Then so I'm just looking. I'm like, who should I get rid of? I'm trying to give him Belichick, whatever how you say his name. I do not know how I will learn. And then so I just kept giving him picks. I did not want to give him a first round pick for D'Angelo Russell. No offense, he's a good player, but I did not want him to get a first round pick, especially if he's coming off our bench. So I was like, no way, I'm not gonna give y'all a first round pick for somebody that I want for my bench. And he's a good player, don't get me wrong. So I give him a first. They say no. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what can I do? And then they still don't want this. I throw out the second, so I bring in a first. They still don't want that. So then I'm like, what should I do for this guy? And then at this point, I don't even want to do this trade. So I'm looking for somebody else, another point guard, shooting guard, somebody for coming off our bench, because we're trying to make the bench better. So we're looking at the Suns right now. They're rebuilding, but DeAndre and Devin Booker is not untouchable. I did not see that actually until now. So that could have been a pretty good deal. As you can see, most of these teams are rebuilding, so I could snag some pretty good players from them. So I'm looking at the Raptors. No, actually, yeah, I'm looking at the Raptors. I'm looking. Kyle Lowry is making $35 million a year. Not the best deal, but then this is what I got my eyes on. Fred VanVleet. I was like, this is perfect. He's on a small contract, a decent player. He can come off our bench, and he is a very good shooter. Do not get me wrong. He is a good shooter. So I'm offering him Belichick, whatever how you say his name is. I will learn. So then at this point, I'm like, oh my god, what should I give them? I do not want to give them a first again. I do not want to give somebody a first round pick if they're going to come off our bench. So I'm just looking. I'm giving Corey Joseph. I didn't want to give him too much assets because I really did not want to keep trading because I felt like that could mess up the team. So I wanted to give him the smallest assets possible. So what's the name? I can still have a good team because trust me, if I was to do mad trades, I would probably mess up the team. The team would go from good to bad. So that's why you could see me giving them some pretty bad players, to be honest. That's why I did not. That's why I'm off some Corey Joseph because I do not really want to give him a good player. So they finally accept the deal. Not the best trade in my books, but yeah. So now this team is still not the best, but I'm still looking. Right now we're buying, and at this point I'm thinking that we're contending, but I didn't change it yet because I still wanted to make some trades. So we have De'Aaron Fox, Jared Wright, DeMar DeRozan, Morgan Bagley, and Harry Giles III are our starting five. And at this point, I'm not really satisfied. We had an 11-man rotation. That was not the best idea. So I changed that to a 9-man rotation. Yeah, so now I'm still looking for some assets on this team to, what's the name, trade for. Obviously, I see Mitchell Robinson. I want him to be our starting center. I do not want Harry Giles III being our starting center. I'm looking at this deal. This is actually not a bad deal at all. Wait, no, not this De'Aaron Fox one. The first one, actually. And Mitch Robinson is on a small contract. He's on his rookie contract. So I'm like, this is pretty good because he's on a small contract. A great center. Why not trade for him? So then I'm just trying to negotiate with them. I don't want to give them too much again because I still want to save some players. Because as you see later in this video, we will snag a star. So I don't want to give him too much because I still want to save some stuff to get a star player. Don't get me wrong, DeMar DeRozan is a good player, but he's not that star player that we need. So then we give him like 4 seconds. They agree with the deal. So then now we have Mitch Robinson as our starting center. 22-year-old, really young. So then we have Rashawn Holmes, Fred VanVleet, Harry Giles, and you know who I'm talking about. I cannot say his name. Coming off our bench. So I'm kind of satisfied with this team. Obviously, this team is not going to win a champion, but the way this team's looking now, it's better than the Kings 1 year ago. So now this is when I'm looking for a star player. I'm looking at everybody that's rebuilding or buying that has a star player. The Wizards are contending for some reason. I don't know why. They are not the best team, trust me. Timberwolves are buying. I already tried to make a deal with them, and of course I'm not going to get Karl-Anthony Towns. I believe he's untouchable anyway. James Harden is untouchable. I would get Russell Westbrook, but he's not the best star player to get, especially because we need scoring. Even though this team could score, but we need scoring. I at least want to see 110 points a game averaged by this team. Now I'm looking at the Mavericks for some reason. Obviously, I want Luka Doncic, but he is untouchable. 96 overall, 20-year-old. It's a great player right here, Luka Doncic. So at this point, I'm just looking. I'm like, should I make this deal? And then I don't even know, cause I don't know why I even bothered. Cause this trade is not going to happen. Even if I do give him some pretty good players, this trade is not going to happen at all. So as you see, I'm trying to negotiate with them. I'm like, give me your worst player back. JJ Barea, pretty old player. Then I think I'm about to start throwing picks in there. And then at this point, I'm trying to give up Kent Bazemore. They say no. Actually, no, they don't. We need them. They need to make up a player. So then I'm like, give me your worst player. He's untouchable. So I don't even know why I bothered trying to make this deal. I give him a first. They say no. I give him another first. They say no. I give him actually no more first. I have to give him a second. They still say no. So I'm like, actually, never mind. We will not be traded for Luka Doncic. I'm looking at the Memphis. I'm looking at the Lakers. I'm seeing what can I do. The Magic, they're a decent team. But Nikola Vucevic is a great player, but he's not a star player. So I don't even know why I was looking at them. So at this point, I'm like, oh my god, bro, we need a star player. So then I'm like, it's whatever. We're just gonna see how we do. So then we we win the first game, 115-100 against the Suns. We lose the second. We lose the third, and we lose the fourth. I mean, we win the fourth actually. Kent Capella in a first round pick for what's the name, DeMar DeRozan. I say no. I do not want him. No, thank you. We lose actually to the Hornets. That's very shocking. And we lose to the Jazz again. I'm pretty sure we beat the Knicks in sort of a blowout. We lose to the Raptors by 6 points. That was a very close game. We beat the Hawks by 3 points. Close game. At this point, we are 4-5. So I'm still simulating. I'm like, I want to see how far can we go. How is our record going to be? We lose to the Blazers. Obviously, we're going to lose to LeBron and Anthony Davis. And then I don't really know about scouting, so I just press triangle. Always have CPU handle prospect scouting. Yeah, we lose to the Lakers. I'm not shocked. And I'm actually shocked that we beat the Celtics, a great team. Actually, my favorite team. So I'm of course gonna be biased. We made it to the playoffs. Let's go, baby. We lose to the Suns. Lose to the Nets. Simulation acting stupid. We beat the Wizards. We lose to the Celtics again. We lose to the Sixers. At this point, we're 6-11. So soon I'm gonna start making some changes because that's not the best record to start off with. We beat the Nuggets, a great team actually. I'm not going to say decent, a great team, a very underrated team to be honest. We beat the Bulls. We beat the Blazers. That's surprising. We beat the Spurs after they traded DeMar DeRozan. He returned to the team and beat them. And then so yeah, the simulation stops right here. So I'm just looking at what our players been doing. I'm looking at the All-Star votings. Anybody in it? Nobody's in it. Gameplay. I'm seeing who's on fire. They want to start Fred VanVleet. I'm like, no, we're gonna start De'Aaron Fox. I don't know. I'm pretty sure everybody else thinks that De'Aaron Fox is a better player than Fred VanVleet. And then right now I'm actually keeping him because I'm like, if they want to start him, I'll start for a little bit. I'll let him start and see how he is. And I'm just looking at what's the best system for our team. I stick with balance, even though Luke Walton is a pace and space coach. I'm looking at player stats. DeMar DeRozan going crazy, 26.4 points a game. Marvin Bagley, Fred VanVleet coming off the bench with 14.5. This team has been going crazy. They've been working hard. 10-11. So I still have some concerns if we possibly will make the playoffs. So at this point, I forgot to make Marvin Bagley backup position a center. So that's what I do. Make his backup position a center. I do the same with Rashawn Holmes because he used to be a center, but I made him power forward. So I made his backup position a center. So yeah, that's what I do so far, and I pass it like an idiot. And then what's the name? So at this point, I'm pretty satisfied with this team. I really don't know how I feel on started Fred VanVleet now. You're gonna see how the team is later. So I'm just looking at Fred VanVleet, his grades and all that. He has 31 badges. That's good. Fred VanVleet has 31 badges. So I don't know what I'm doing at this point right now because I'm have an awkwardly large stop. I don't even know what I'm doing. But yeah, let's while we wait, let's look at everybody grades. De'Aaron Fox, A inside, A minus, and mid range, and B plus 3-point. And he's only 21. Dang, I thought he was like 22. Marvin Bagley, 20 years old, 85 overall, A minus, B plus, C plus. Rashawn Holmes, B plus, A minus, D minus at 3 point. Not the best 3 point shooter, but he's a power forward, so it's whatever. Mitchell Robinson, 20. He's only 21. I thought he was 22. Once again, A minus, C, and F. So yeah, at this point, I do not know what I'm doing. It's a very large stop. Okay, I'm finally move. Okay, the analog stick. So I'm just looking at the roster again. I'm looking at what we need. Our backup shooting guard's not the best actually, and actually not that good. It's a two-way player, two-way contract player. Harry Giles our backup center. So yeah, now I'm looking for a trade, cause we're 10-11. It's not that bad, but trust me, it's not gonna help us. Cause obviously we need something. So then I'm just looking, yeah, I'm looking in the market again, looking for a star player, somebody that's not untouchable, somebody that's either selling or rebuilding. And then I see the Clippers, and Paul George is not untouchable, so I know I could trade for it. And I'm like, we might actually do this. This could be our star player. So we give him DeMar DeRozan. Obviously, they do not accept that trade. There's nothing wrong with that. So then I'm like, actually, here you could take one of our players, and I'm still looking right now. And then so I give them Derek Wright. They need a player back. Need to give us a player back. We take their worst player. They say they want a first round pick in Yogi Ferrell, and they will give us Patrick Beverly. And in my mind, that's a great trade, actually. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this trade. I'm still looking at the trade for some reason. There we go. We make the trade. Now the Clippers are rebuilding. They went from a contending team to a rebuilding team. And at this point, I'm pretty happy. Got Paul George, our starting shooting guard. 4 players actually. Yeah, 4 players are fire on our starting lineup. And Fred VanVleet, coming off the bench, 33 minutes. He's been on fire. So then I'm like, is this team still good? Do we still need to make changes? So I'm looking. We need a backup small shooting guard, and we have a lot of small forwards. So I definitely had to get rid of that. I need to make a change. So I'm looking in the market. Once again, I'm pretty sure I'm looking for a backup shooting guard or to get rid of my small forward. So I trade for Patrick Beverly because we really do not need him if Fred VanVleet is coming off the bench. So I'm like, yeah, I should have took that deal. They was giving us a first round pick. I could have used that in another trade. Actually, looking at that now, but right now I was in the moment, so I was looking for a decent trade because I needed somebody. So yeah, I'm still looking in the market. Lakers, I'm actually stopping to look at this Quinn Cook, and I'm like, nah. And then I see a backup shooting guard, and what's his name? Terrence Ross. So I'm still looking, but that's the best deal in my head at this time. So of course I go to accept it. Now Terrence Ross is on the team. So what do you guys think? Do you think this team, before we make any more trades, do you think this team can make the playoffs? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, like the video if you have got this far. And yeah, so at this point, they still want to start Fred VanVleet. I'm like, no, don't do that, please. I give De'Aaron Fox 35 minutes instead of 33 and start him. And now we have Terrence Ross on the team, and I see why they want to get rid of him. He has an ice pack. In real life, Terrence Ross is a very good player. Well, not very. You know what I mean. He's a decent player. He's not one of those players that you're gonna see every minute, every game dropping 30. But he's a good player. And then, so the simulation's acting slow at this moment. We lose to the Rockets. Oh, he actually beat the Mavericks. We beat Luka, and I'm actually shocked about that. We beat the Knicks. It's a close game, 12 points. We lose to, oh my god, that's a high scoring game, to the Warriors. We beat the Hornets. We beat the Pacers. Oh, we lose to the Grizzlies by 1 point. I'm pretty sure John Morant did all the work. No offense to the Grizzlies. Um, Also, yeah, comment down below who is your favorite NBA team. If you have been watching this far too, I'm curious to know. We beat the Timberwolves. We beat the Suns. We beat the Nuggets. We're on a winning streak, 4-game winning streak. I am very excited about that. We lose actually to the Clippers, and then we lose to the Grizzlies again. We actually, simulation's acting slow. We beat the Pelicans. That's very shocking because in 2K20, Pelicans are a very good team sometimes in the simulation. Because for some reason, 2K, they be having the rookies overpowered. Not complaining or anything, but that just seems crazy to me. We lose to the Suns. It's alright. At this point, we're 21-17. So, we're actually the 5th seed right now so far. So I'm looking if I need any more changes. I'm looking at free agency. I'm like, who should I get? I'm looking at the award race to see if anybody's in. I see Fred VanVleet for 60 Man of the Year. Shout out to Freddie. So yeah, I'm looking at contract extensions. See if anybody wants to re-sign. De'Aaron Fox is undecided. So of course I'm trying to resign De'Aaron Fox, and when he says, I'm really curious to see what I'm worth out in the open market when my contract is over. That definitely concerns me, because then it shows that he probably wants to leave. So at this point, I'm checking the game plan once again. It's one thing you have to do in rebuild challenges. Freddie VanVleet is averaging 14.3 points a game, not bad. So then, yeah, I'm satisfied with this team. At this point, I start Fred VanVleet. I'm seeing how he's doing, cause they really want to start him for some reason. We lose to the Bucks, so I'm only gonna start him for 3 games. See how he does in those 3 games. If he does good, I will keep him as a starter. We blow out the Magic, and then we beat the Mavs. Shout out to the Mavs for having a great series so far against the Clippers. So I'm looking at Fred VanVleet's stats. He played 34 minutes at 20 points. De'Aaron Fox played 29 minutes at 23 points, so that definitely concerns me. And they want to start him, so I'm like, alright. He makes 17 points in this game, so I'm like, okay, that's not bad. And then De'Aaron Fox has more points than him. He has 5 points and played 27 minutes, so I'm like, nah, I cannot start this man. He had a decent first 2 games, and they're like, yeah, you should start him, De'Aaron Fox too. So yeah, we do not start Fred VanVleet. So yeah, I'm looking at the rotation again, and then I'm pretty satisfied with this team. I know I say that a lot, but like this team, they're pretty good right now. We've been winning some games. So yeah, I'm looking at our picks. I'm looking at our staff, and at this point, I'm like, one of the reasons why we're probably losing that much too is probably because of Luke Walton. So as you can see, I'm looking for any better head coaches, especially since Luke Walton is not a balanced coach, and he's a I believe pace and space or grit and grind coach. So I'm like, I definitely need to get rid of him and hire a balanced coach. So I'm still looking for some coaches to see what fits best. It actually looks like the coach from the Pelicans. I believe that's the old coach. I don't know. I'm probably tripping. I'm not a Pelicans fan, so I can't say so. So at this point, yeah, I'm just looking. This man, he's an assistant coach. I can promote him. He has a B+ offense, B+ defense, and a B, what's the name, potential. So I fire him, and I'm like, I'm gonna sign this person, and I'm hire him as a head coach. And since he's a balanced coach, that should make us better. It's only 3 stars though. They said that this rotation is probably not that good, but honestly, I like balance. I'm not really one of those spaces guys. Defense, grit and grind. So no matter what, I will always keep balance. So yeah, I'm just looking at the system. I'm looking at the stats. Paul George averaging 24.2 a game. De'Aaron Fox 20. Fred VanVleet 14.3. So I'm like, this team is averaging some pretty good numbers. So I'm like, yeah, imagine if the Kings did this in real life. Obviously, the season is over, but I have faith in the Kings. So let's see what they can do next season. So yeah, I'm just looking at the stats. I'm seeing if I should start anybody else, if my players are doing good. So I'm simulating to the trade deadline, cause after that, if you don't know what the trade deadline is, you cannot make no more trades after that. After you pass that, so I'm like, I go to the trade deadline. I'm like, if we need to make any more trades, just in case, I'm gonna stop there. We actually go on a winning streak right now. I believe at least like six game, probably more. Don't know. So yeah, this team has been doing good. 27-18. We beat actually 28 or 29. I cannot see. We beat the Thunder. We lose to the Clippers by 11 points. It's whatever, cause this is our first year. This could be a first year rebuild challenge. Stick to watch. I don't know what I just said. And so I'm looking if anybody made the playoff team. All-Star team. Paul George as a reserve. It's the sixth man coming off team Steph Curry. So yeah, that's a pretty good All-Star team. So once again, I'm simulating to the trade deadline to see if I need to make any more trades. And if I do, I will. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stop simulating. If anybody's doing bad, I'm gonna trade them. And I'm like, I don't need no more trades. But if I do, then I will do it. But so yeah, I go to look at the player stats. If anybody's not hooping, I'm gonna trade you. Paul George for 24.3, 5.9 rebounds a game and 4.2 assists. That's impressive. Is that MVP numbers? Probably not, but that's good. De'Aaron Fox 20 points a game. Honestly, I see De'Aaron Fox. I'm talking about in real life right now. In 2 years, I probably see him as like one of the best point guards in the league. A 3. Cause he's still young, so he's not gonna get it right away. He's a good point guard right now though. But I can definitely see him being one of the fixers in the league, just like Luka right now. So yeah, I'm looking at where we are at the standings. We're the number 19. So the Celtics, actually, shout out to the Celtics, my favorite team once again. They're the first seed. So I'm like, we gotta get up there at least. Let's try to get up there. So yeah, rebuild the rotations again, and Fred VanVleet's on fire actually. Once again, we're rocking a 9-man rotation, so I'm just looking at stuff, at itty bitty stuff. And so then I simulate to the end of the season, cause right now I'm like, we don't need to make any more trades. We don't need to do anything else. I'm satisfied with everything so far. We lose to the Spurs actually by 18 points, and we took DeMar DeRozan. And so I'm like, I'm pretty satisfied. And this is shocking. I believe we beat the Mavericks every game. And usually, if you play my league in 2K20, you know Luka Doncic is a beast. He's 96 overall. Last year he was probably like a 83, I believe. I don't know. He was a decent overall in his rookie year. He won rookie of the year last year too. So shout out to him. So yeah, we're 39-20 right now. Here's a contract extension deadline. So I'm trying to resign these players. Most of them probably don't even want to resign with us. I'm like, why? We've been winning. We're better than we did last year. So like, I'm just looking. Nobody wants to resign. So I'm like, it's whatever. So at this point, we just simulate to the end of the season. We beat the Pistons. We're actually doing really good. 40-20 right now. We beat the Wizards. We lose to the Sixers. Lose to the Blazers. We beat the Rockets. Oh, I'm sorry. We beat the Raptors. We beat the Pelicans. We're going against the Nets. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we had injuries off, so um, Kevin Durant was playing. We beat the Mavericks again, and now we actually lose to the Rockets. Sorry about that. I did not mean to say Rockets. Before we beat the Magic, we beat the Pelicans again. That's shocking to me because y'all know Zion is a beast in this game. We actually lose to the Cavaliers, so I'm like, hold up. I was shocked. So, we beat the Hawks by 20 points. We beat the Pacers. We beat the no, actually not the Mavs, the Spurs. And we lose to the Clippers again. Kawhi Leonard's a beast. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard. Congratulations to the Raptors last year for winning the finals. First ever champion. Let's see if they can do it this year though. Um, we beat the Spurs. And it's almost the end of the season, so yeah, we're just simulating. We beat the Timberwolves. We beat the Nuggets. Now we're going against LeBron and go to State, and we actually lose the last 2 games. Giannis wins MVP. Ja Morant wins Rookie of the Year, and Giannis wins. Oh, we already checked that. DeMarcus Cousins wins Sixth Man of the Year. Kawhi Defensive Player of the Year, and Most Improved Player is Luka. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.